Good evening. This is K.I.S.S. Recovery 101. I'm Bridge Sky. I'm the host tonight. Now I'm using a different mic. So listeners, hello, interact with us, please. Questions, comments, just give me a thumbs up. I want to make sure you can hear me. We've had some instances before in the past, technical difficulties, and I'd like to not let that happen tonight. So if you're listening, can someone just say hi, thumbs up? Either way, I'm going to just keep rolling, and I figure I'll give it 5 or 10 minutes. Somebody's going to tell us that they can't hear anything. But anyway, okay, let's get into this. So if this is your first time listening, KISS is a great acronym. It's Keep It Simple, Stupid. And I liked that. At first it kind of sounded rude, but I realized it really made it more simple for me because I was overcomplicating the crap. Well, I do that just on a regular basis every day, all the time. And when someone called me stupid, or that's how I took it, it made me realize I need to just dumb it down a little bit, take it down a notch. And you know what? I could laugh at I laugh at myself now. So K.I.S.S. And then Recovery 101 is just keeping it to the basics, keeping it simple, making recovery loud and proud and fun and simple. It does not need to be lectures and preaching and all that kind of randomness. I like to keep it like on a regular down-to-earth level. Okay, so with that, I am so happy. My guest tonight, she's made some huge accomplishments. Lots of things and challenges and barriers that have popped up, and just in knowing her this last year, I am in awe of how strong she is, how she can be vulnerable, but she instantly attracts people to her just based on her wisdom, her strength, her authenticity, I would say. And so I invited her out tonight, and she is actually in one of these places. Recovery language, I talk about this a lot, is so important. And let's not call up sober houses. Right now, where it's at, I actually do like the newer term, which is the recovery residential homes, she's in one right now and doing well and good things. But tonight we're going to talk about all the good things and all the things to watch out for. Now, I have a lot of things to share with you tonight. It's all my opinions. It's just my own experiences and whatnot. But I'll tell you, there's a lot of things I want everyone to be mindful of, especially when picking a place that you're going to be transitioning into. Anyway, stop rambling. So my guest tonight, her name is Amy. And Amy, would you mind introducing yourself? Maybe talk about where you're at today, maybe how we met, anything, whatever pops in your head. The mic is yours.
Hello, everyone. I met Bridge through my home group back a while ago this winter. Then I had the pleasure to ask her to sponsor me. I had my hysterectomy, and she couldn't believe I came back 6 days after my hysterectomy, and she's like, shut up. Mm-hmm. Here you are sitting here after,
You've literally been showing up.
Yeah, after having this huge surgery, where I was, I relapsed after almost 3 years sober from alcohol in February of 2020, and then a few months later, I relapsed after 15 years sober from meth. 3 days after my 15 years sober, it was like pretty much a downward spiral. Mm-hmm. I didn't think I really had a problem. I didn't think it was noticeable, but let's just say after 2 D-dubs in less than a month and all of that, it was very noticeable. I'm grateful for my ex who helped with her son, him and his girlfriend, so I was very blessed to have that support. I decided to do 26 days in inpatient treatment. Mm-hmm. I had the option to go to a sober house. Before that, I was doing outpatient at Grace Counseling. It wasn't working. I was still using. My supplier was right across the street, down the end of the road. So
right
I had
there.
A lot of connections to easily accessible to drugs. So,
sure.
So I signed over my title on July 24th last year, gave my trailer back, moved all my stuff in them 4 days, and checked myself into treatment July 28th at 6:45 p.m.
That's what's up.
And then they held my bed at Meraki.
Okay.
So I had my my vet held for me. As long as I went to treatment and got sober, that's all she wanted from me.
Okay.
So I wasn't white knuckling it in the sober house and being just,
Yeah.
let's just say I didn't really like, inpatient treatment for the first, 2.5 weeks. I wanted to leave 150 times every day.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I'd say that's very universal.
F this place. I hate it here. I didn't get visits. That was probably one of the hardest parts. I at least got to Zoom chat with my son, so I was grateful for that.
Yeah.
Then I left the doors of treatment and went straight into my sober house. I was there for 6 months. I moved out on February 28th. I had 4 days out of sober house. But I was blessed to be one of the fortunate ones to be clean to get into my second sober house.
Yes.
Which is New Heights, which I'm very grateful for.
Shout out.
Yeah,
New Heights.
Shout out to New Heights. It's a very fellowship-orientated sober house. I'm super grateful for my family within family. We do a fellowship dinner every Monday night. It's super awesome.
Like a little
just
family.
the way we come together.
Is it women only?
No, we have one women's house and then the rest is guys' houses. But it's still the fact that we're a family.
Yes.
And then I go to my Tuesday night meeting every Tuesday. I think I've only missed one meeting the whole entire time I've ever went to that NA meeting.
Wow.
So that's another family within a family.
Yes.
But I was dragging my legs. I mean, any challenge you could have dropped at you, I've had.
Oh, yes.
But it would never have gotten better if I used. It would have just gotten shittier. So I'm grateful that I kept my sobriety. I did intensive outpatient treatment for 45 weeks. I just graduated July 13th.
Yes!
Super stoked about that.
That's what's up.
I didn't rush out of there. I had plenty to learn from. So
There's another date.
July 28th.
July
will be
28th.
my 1 year.
1 year!
Whoop, whoop.
I am so freaking proud of you.
Thank you.
Seriously, we could talk and touch a little bit on your journey, but especially that first year back. The things that I saw you not let get you down. And what is wonderful is you did the things that you're supposed to do. I did not do these things for many years. Is when you were struggling, when you were feeling overwhelmed, stressed out, you reached out. You picked up the phone, and that could be like the hardest piece. And especially with someone like you that I've known, you're just so, got it together. You get the things done. You're a leader. I don't know if you know this. I see you as a leader. So to take that, role, or at least feel that. I mean, you always, you show up to the meetings and you're bringing girls with you. Like, you're just that motivator, 100%. And you just do it naturally, I'll tell you that. And to see when you needed someone, you connected with me. And there was one time particularly, I remember, you're like, so I don't know if it was a friend or a housemate or somebody said, I should call you, so I'm calling you. You weren't crying, you weren't emotional, you actually sounded kind of frustrated. We'll say frustrated. You're like, so I just wanted to do that. And I was like, okay, so what's going on? And it took you just a minute or two, but, eventually you opened up and you let me know what was going on. And it's like, that alone in itself is huge to admit when things are going well, those moments of weakness. And for me, that shows strength, more strength than ever, words can even describe.
Thank you.
It makes me feel honored that you trust me that well. No, I'm just kidding. Not that I wouldn't give you a reason not to trust me. But anyway, that's huge. Oh, Facebook user says, loved hearing your story, Amy. Thank you for interacting, Facebook user.
Thank you.
Yes. And so we're going to unpack whatever you feel comfortable unpacking. But this is huge. And so what the topic is tonight, so I did want to just read that. Well, let me just make sure that it's accurate. So the post, one thing that I find, I work at Minnesota Recovery Connection. One of our biggest things is we like to fill in the gaps, where treatments can't do, and that is housing. And a lot of times it's really great if you can get set up and get right into a sober house. Now here's the thing. On my side of that, I can't really tell you initially what that sober house is going to be like. I can't tell you. I have gotten calls like, this is not a place of, I do not feel like I'm supported here. This is a place where I'm seeing things right in front of me that honestly makes me want to go right back into where I was at. And I'm like, what? And so it's interesting, Amy. I looked online. There's some interesting articles that really, before I start gossiping, just kidding, but tell us some stories that I've heard or witnessed. I went to this wonderful couple websites, I'll throw them out here, that talk about exactly why there's a consistent problem. So we're going to talk about your house and the positive ones that are out there. I know this is my friend Sarah, she's in a great bunch of houses that's organized, but there's a lot of not so pleasant places. And I am mentally keeping a list, like, well, at work I have a little list for myself, but there's so many out there, it's really hard to track all that, especially when people are moving along really quickly. So one of the things, so recovery residences provide a substance-free living environment to help individuals transition from highly structured treatment programs back to sustainable lives. Monitoring regulations, though, in these recovery residents varies very widely. And sober homes are a key part of the recovery process. Supporting individuals, it's at a crucial time when they are especially vulnerable. I mean, I wasn't clear-headed. I didn't know what was going on. I was just doing the things. But they're largely unregulated and really can make or break someone's ability to stay on their initial, I call it that high of like, I'm going to do this recovery thing and I mean it. And especially the last treatment I went to, I really made that choice. I really wanted to do the things. And I never went to sober housing. Like, I was able to keep my house. Let me tell you, there's a little story with that. But looking at now where I've been to great places like New Heights and there's Summit Hill, that would have been fantastic because environment is
key.
Huge. You go from this place where whatever treatment that it's all about recovery and understanding yourself, and you're thrown right back into where you came from. Well, that's not good. It's not a good thing. Well, it wasn't for me. So, but ideally, the next step would be to find, a home or a house where, again, it's supportive. It's they're there mostly to support you and going into the next stage of your recovery path. So here's some of the article things that I pulled. So MASH, are you familiar with MASH?
Yes.
Okay, so that is Minnesota Association of Sober Homes. Okay, while MASH may have high standards and have numerous sober homes, they aren't able to follow. Some of the people aren't able to follow. Okay, so MASH has guidelines. Okay, I copied and pasted some things here. Currently, sober homes are regulated at a local level. So for Minnesota, mostly through zoning and occupancy codes. And the Minnesota Association of Sober Homes, MASH, works throughout the state and independently certifies homes, conducts inspections, and responds to complaints. However, sober homes are not required to work with MASH. So that's where that big ass gap is I think, okay, pro tip number 1, listeners, see if the house that you're interested in going to is on the MASH list, is following those guidelines, okay? That might be a big, huge X if they're not. So while MASH may have high standards, again, if they don't go through that process of getting on MASH's list, they have their own agenda, let me tell you. Okay, so I'm going to talk about, I just have to go right into the negatives, okay? Because this is what ticks me off when I hear these stories. So, unless they're affiliated with a licensed facility, recovery homes typically are, I highlighted this, for-profit businesses, okay? Putting that out there. They are often owned and operated by those who themselves are in recovery, but not necessarily. Actually, I find that quite a few aren't. They are financially sustained through weekly or monthly program fees they charge the residences, and though they are not landlord or tenant arrangements, so these people get to charge whatever they want for one frickin' bed in a room maybe with 4 to 6 bunk beds or whatever. So they can sit there and charge, $700 for a bed. That drives me insane, okay? And on top of that, you might be coming out, you got to get deposit, you got to pay this deposit. So luckily at MRC we have resources to help with that. But it's like you come out on this high, and it's set up to, you're in the hole again. You're financially now stressed out again. You're just trying to find housing. Sorry, I'm not going to ramble. Okay, so while some of the recovery homes are associated with like stuff like MASH, there's a vast majority that are standalone entities with no government oversight. And so with this no federal oversight of recovery homes, very few states require any kind of licensing or certification by these house owners. So consequently, there exists a wide gap between good recovery homes and the bad ones. And it can be very difficult to know whether one is getting a quality home or not. And making the choice is a crucial one. A wrong choice, and that person could be entering a situation where there is little monitoring of activities, daily living, no accountability, where the prospects of a successful outcome are very poor. And indeed, some recovery home owners have far less interest, I would say, these ones that aren't good, they don't have any interest in the successful long-term outcomes of these individuals than making sure they're filling those beds and collecting those program fees. What do you think about that? What have you heard? What has your experience been? Now, you were at a house before the house that you're at now. Do you want to just talk about maybe why you moved?
There was too many people in one house. It was 14 people in the house.
How many beds?
14.
No, like how many bedrooms? Sorry, bedrooms. 14. Yeah, that's a lot.
Upstairs, we had 2 bedrooms with 2 beds and 1 with 3. On the main floor, we had 1 bedroom with 1 bed. On the lower level, we had a bedroom with 2 beds, 1 with 3, and then 1 with 1.
Really, really important question. How many bathrooms?
We had 3 full baths and 1 half bath.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say.
So I mean, it was
2.
a really nice house. I mean,
Yeah.
I can't knock the house, but
Sure, that's a lot of people.
it was just a lot of people, and some got mislooked, or it got super cliquey.
Oh yeah.
I wasn't a big fan of the clickiness. What else?
Personality
differences
Egos.
was a huge thing. Yes,
Sure.
a lot of that. The cliquey piece, the favoritism, that was huge.
Yeah.
When I had to move, it was, in my mind, super devastating, but then again, it was for the best.
Yes.
Personality clashes, I mean, it was like the pot sitting on the stove fitting to boil over.
Yes.
So I was grateful. At the moment, not so grateful.
Yeah.
But in the long run, grateful.
Right.
It also, I think, has a big piece to do with, like, the compassion in your owner.
Oh, absolutely.
The compassion in your house manager, or
Amazing.
some are called captains. Like,
Yeah.
they have to have a great connection with their people. They're availability to talk to you through an issue.
Right.
The support that you get from them, I think that plays a big role in the success of it. Like,
Right.
that's why I'm grateful for my sober house, is because I get all of that.
Yeah.
You know, they make time if there's an issue. Like, they'll talk you through it. I'm grateful I'm able to pick up and reach out.
Yeah.
And if one captain isn't available like mine, I know there's another captain.
Oh, see, that's
Or the
cool.
owner. Like, you know.
So where you were at before, it was 1 captain and 14 other people. That's a lot.
Yeah.
And then you just break off and you do up the clicks.
Well, and then
And-
the captain's super busy working, doing their own thing. So then you sort of get brushed under the rug. So it's, you know, then you have house owner, business manager doing intakes, and then, you know, there's that lack of communication.
100%.
Which, where I'm at now, there is none of really that, and I'm grateful for that.
Yes.
It took me a minute to get used to the quietness, because I went from 14 female to
Right.
only, you know, it holds 6.
Wow.
So-
Okay.
But right now we have 4, but we're getting a couple new people. But it's, you know, it's still not so overpowering.
Yes.
So I like the smaller setting, the more, you know,
Oh, it's
intimate
the
piece.
first alarm.
Okay.
You like that? Makes you want to dance? So that first alarm is just, okay, this show's about an hour, okay? Sometimes we go over. Well, most times we go over a little bit. But that's to remind me to interact. So, we got another interaction. Facebook user says, that is insane about charges in the recovery homes. Here's the thing. Thank you again, Facebook user. I wanted to go back to that. A lot of people don't even know that this is going on. It's really sad. They're taking advantage of people in positions that don't have anything a lot of times.
Well, in a lot of treatments, like inpatient treatments, I don't think let their people in there know about like the program of intensive outpatient with New Way, who will support your housing fee, or allow them to know about MRC that will help with deposit fee,
Right.
or the resources that are really like available to people,
Right.
because a lot of people may really be homeless,
Right.
no
Yes.
support. I'm grateful that I had support in certain areas, that I could 100% focus on my recovery,
Right.
know my son's safe,
Yes.
know that I could get better, because a using mama is not a healthy mama. A sober mama is. And
Yeah.
like, I mean, that's just how your relationship gets better with your kids too.
Yeah.
But it's merely off the support you get within the community.
Yes.
But you also have to build your own support. That's why I am willing to bring people to meetings that don't have transportation. I still do it at my new sober house.
Yes.
Like, my kid lives in Anoka, I'll drop him off, but then I also go to my sober house and pick up a group of people and take them to the Anoka meeting. Because that's all about recovery.
Yes.
You know, giving what worked for you back to the others that are new into the program.
Yes.
It's really super huge.
100%.
And like showing them, that's why like I'll still go to my Thursday night meeting at my house. Like, I could have stopped after my 4 months, but it's still showing like this is what saved my life.
Yes.
Like, I'm not just gonna cut it after 4 months. It keeps working, so don't wreck what's working.
Right.
Also just showing them like, dude, I am almost a year sober. Like, it is possible.
Yes.
Like, keep doing it. Like, don't give up.
Huge. And I would say too, okay, yes, that's one thing I definitely noticed about you is you're an action person, okay? You don't talk, you walk the walk, okay? See it all the time. Like, you just like, I don't question or worry about you really, so when you call me and you're reaching out, like, good, because I can't tell, because you're so busy, you do those things, you give so much back. Again, that's qualities of a leader.
The one thing about you, you always say to me, well, I know I'm just more here for support. You just do what you need to do.
Yeah, you just let me know.
Call me if you need help.
Right, which you never do, really. But even I remember that transition, okay? So I remember you mentioning it was getting really stressful. I remember you mentioning certain instances that, I'm very proud of you, how you handle yourself, okay? We're human beings. And let me tell you, some of those things that went on, those interactions that you had with the ladies in your previous house, I don't know if I could have maintained myself as well as you did. But I remember, again, you got on that shit, and in like 2 days of something super crazy quick.
Yeah.
You didn't even let me help you, by the way. You're like, no, I got this thing set up, and then you called me back. Okay, so I'm gonna go. You just tell me all the things. You didn't ask for it. You just like, I'm doing the things, and then like, I was like less than a week. It seemed like you were in the place.
Yeah, the March 3rd. So I stayed in overnight on the 28th. I moved all my stuff out on March 1st.
Yes.
I talked to my new house manager, did my intake over the phone. Well, my interview over the phone. I'm like, well, I have my room until the morning of the 3rd. Can I do my intake at 11:30? She's like, yeah, just make sure you're here at 11. I'm like, I'll be there at 11:30.
Showed up.
She's like, you sure you have no problem? I'm like, I'll be good. I promise. I have great support. And I showed up at 11:30 for my intake and did my UA right away. And she's like, I just gotta tell you, I'm freaking amazed. Like, 4 days, dude, and you still came here and you peed clean. Like, I gotta praise you for that. So,
Yes, committed.
and then like with the stress of it, like, abrupt change. None of us like abrupt change. Change sucks in recovery. Like, I don't know anybody that could say, hey,
Big
dude,
time.
I love change.
Right.
Like,
Bring it on. Yeah.
But the biggest part of the change was the quiet. I mean, I was used to 14 women, well, 13 if you account myself as the 14th, running around, coming and going. There's always noise. So, like, my first night there, I was like, she's like, are you okay? And I'm like, well, it's just so unusually quiet.
Yes.
I can't do the quiet. Like,
Do you find that you like it now?
Yeah, it's more peaceful.
Mm-hmm.
But then one of the other girls came over and she brought some like peppiness and
Nice.
like I'm like, okay, thank you for
Little
bringing
spunky energy.
a little bit of the energy back because I needed this. I needed noise and like loudness.
Yeah.
So
A good balance.
You know, we have the music room below us, so like
Oh
our
my
house owner
gosh.
drums and stuff, and he has band practice, so that brings a little bit of the noise too.
Yes.
So, and then like we have chickens across the street.
Oh my
like,
That's
dude,
cool.
It's really awesome.
And that's the thing. So again, this is a very short amount of time. You just did the things. You just showed up. You didn't think about it. You just did it. You're like, I'm going to do this, and you do it. And like, I love that about you.
Well, and there's days, obviously, I didn't want to show up, but them are the days that I really needed to show up because that's when I really needed to hear what was being said.
Yes.
I mean,
yes, and so I remember the transition. I mean, most of our interactions are over the phone. I remember just hearing your voice change when you got into where you're at now. What a huge, like, big positive, like, yes, you probably felt a little like, you know, well, it's a pretty quick change here. But immediately, I could tell you didn't seem guarded. You seemed, like, grateful, okay? And the way you were describing your head manager person, your house manager, I was like, man, I want to get to know her. This girl needs to be my friend too, right? She just sounds so nice and supportive, and she took that time. One of the biggest things someone said to me, you know, doing what I do, they said, Bridge, people don't want to know how much you know. They want to know how much you care.
yeah.
And when because I felt it wasn't a matter of like I'm a know-it-all. It was a matter of not feeling qualified or worthy to give people, you know, guidance or support in certain situations.
But it's also still being able to give that same compassion back to the ones that give it to you.
Right.
Because there's days like you may not have the best day, but
Yeah.
I'm still there to talk to you about it and not just be the only one that dishes all my shit on you.
Yes.
It's like a give and take relationship, not just take.
Yes, we fill each other's cups.
How does that benefit anybody? And that's how it is with my NA sponsor too.
Yeah.
We gotta balance each other. You
Yes.
know, I gotta be able to support you as much as you support me, and not just take.
Yes.
Because it's not a really balanced relationship.
Yes.
So, and I'm grateful to have an AA sponsor and an NA sponsor.
Yes.
Because I feel like it helps me in both my addictions.
Absolutely.
So.
And I think everyone, it's great to be open to all those different perceptions. But I think the main thing, what stuck out is I'm a fixer. You know, I'm a problem solver. I want to fix everything for everybody. And at the end of the day, stop and listen. Okay? Because really, that's my initial go-to now is just sit back, let someone talk. Really listen, not only just listen, but hear them.
That was one of my hugest character defects too,
Yeah.
is I want to never shut up to listen. And I've hugely worked on that, is to be able to not overreact right away and actually hear the other person out. There's a couple relationships that I have, like even with co-parenting, was a really big struggle because I had a hard time giving up control, which I'm grateful that, you know, I'm able to do that and trust his decisions. Like even with our pediatrician, like I was like, why didn't you like have me choose with you? Well, then we met the pediatrician in June, and I said, dude, I have to give you mad props, and I do need to actually trust your judgment and know like you do make good decisions for him, and just be more open-minded and like hear his side out too as much, because like we're both his parents. He deserves like the better
Again,
end
a
of
balance
both.
in relationships.
So, but when I first came out, there was none of that. I was very much an a-hole. Like I couldn't shut off and like listen to his side ever.
Right.
Which I hope I show him the growth in that.
Oh yeah, so that's the thing is like I'm not in recovery. You know, I didn't need recovery just for my substances, okay? I needed recovery from my traumas. I needed recovery for my mental wellness stuff going on. I also, like you, I had a huge wall, and it didn't take much to go on defense mode with anything anybody said to me. Just looked at me wrong, and I'm already shutting you down. So, yes, I love that you point that out. So it's like, I'm I'm happy that you got into where you got into now. Again, you guys do these things together. You support each other. I mean, that is... I wish it was some kind of requirement. You have to register with MASH or something, or whatever, guidelines, because so that you're set up to go from one great, what might not have been great, some of my treatments were great, environments, to the next transition, starting to slowly get back into regular day-to-day lives, similar to what you had before, but again, positive. Those places should not be about money, and a lot of them nowadays are.
Well, MASH or not, my owner is definitely not like that.
Yeah, that's great. Yes,
and I'm great.
And there are those houses like that.
He actually would give his shirt off his back for the recovery community.
Do you always eat in recovery?
Yes.
Oh, see, that helps.
But it's also, that's a huge piece. But even if it wasn't that way, I still think he'd be the same way.
Well, and the woman who owns the Summit Hill houses, she is not a person in recovery, but she is definitely, I would say, an ally of recovery. Because where do you hear that? You don't hear that people doing things for other people that there's no,
no rhyme or
immediate benefit. So yes, and I'm not trying to talk. Okay, let's go into positive things. So positive things that I do know of, like I said, your house, and I love to hear it. And like where Sarah's house is at now they're starting. Sarah's was one of the first among their houses, and now I'm hearing more. Their parents are allowed to bring children. Okay, some I know are full time. Sarah's, I believe, they're doing 50-50.
Fellowship house is 100%.
Oh wow, okay.
Hope and Mora, I feel you have to work a little bit of the program first, and then your child can come 100%.
Which makes total sense because yes, instinctively I want my kids back now, but in reality, I'm glad that didn't happen because I would have right back into that overwhelming feeling and not putting myself first.
Yep. And there's a few other places out there that I just heard of. There's another Hope that's not in Mora, it's down in the cities, that is more 100%, and they help you get your kids back more. And that's the other piece too, is if you have issues with your parenting or custody or whatever, like Fellowship will help you with any of that. Summit will help you with any of that.
That's
like
wonderful.
Mora, Hope will help you with any of that. Vice versa with the other ones.
That's great.
So it's really nice to know that there is.
It's getting a lot better.
I'm just grateful, like, me and my son's dad can do what's right by our son.
Right.
And I'm grateful that he has a supportive girlfriend, too. And
yes. Well, and it's good to have that family unit. Everybody, the ideal traditional family, this is not existent. That's extinct, okay? I know very few where grandma, grandpa, mom, and dad all married, never divorced, none of that. All the kids are full whatever blood. None of that exists anymore, honestly. I don't really know anyone. But, yes, and so, like, having your family in your sober housing, making that a family unit to transit back into your family unit. And I tell you, a lot of my family or friends were not healthy people. So I could not go every time I went right back into that.
It would take you right back.
I'd go right back into the shithole I was in. So I love these sober housing. So there's this. Okay, so if you go to the Oxford group, they did this the science about, so they're called mutual help organizations, and they did a series of studies to suggest that they're promoting a host of positive outcomes at substantially lower costs compared to standard continued care. So, okay, sorry, let's just jump into. So they're going into, again, these sober houses. They did some, this is what's frustrating. They have not done enough numbers. They have not produced enough data to really back up a lot of things. Because they'll say, these people go into these sober houses and they go right back out. And sadly, that is very true. Why? There's no accountability. There's no plan in place. You go into your sober house, unless there's some way that you have a support system, something in place right there for you. If someone's just charging you $800 for your bed, you go get a job. You what do you got going on? There's no requirements for any kind of support meetings or UAs. It is what it is. But like I said, that's why places like MRC. There are great treatment centers that make that contact. New Way's great. Make that contact for you so that you're not kicked out and just put right back into
A pack of wolves.
right.
Yes.
So enough rambling about that. Oh, we're already at 8:35. That's a second alarm. So that is our segment called the hot seat. But you know what? I just want to. Okay, so I'm all about solutions, right? Kids recovery. So it's like a little class here. Kids recovery. It's like a little 1 hour class. So I want to play this clip because this is something that this clip for me. I want to know your secret, but here's my secret. So I spent 17 years on the merry-go-round, falling right back into my old patterns, right back into my old cycles. And I realize now, a lot of it was, I had all this inspiration or motivation to do these things. I never went anywhere with it. I would talk myself out of stuff so quickly. I would get, sidelined off of, I'm not going to say it's outside factors, I mean environment, friends, family, whatever, but just within my own self, in my own head. My friend, I always repeat this, she always told me, Ridge, your mind is like a bad neighborhood, never go there alone. And that was my problem. I'd get in my home, in my head, and I wouldn't do anything. I wouldn't do the action. And you are all about the action. And once I figured out, instead of talking about it and thinking about it and dreaming about it or setting these goals and not actually doing anything, what did I expect? So one of the things that I've learned now, right now, she's more geared towards her inspirational stuff is on businesses. Just change the word to business to recovery, and she actually had some issues with depression and recovery as well. But she taught me this trick. It's called the 5-second rule. It really works. Yeah, you pointed at me. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I seen.
Because your brain is set up to protect you. Our brains are set up to protect ourselves. So the brain doesn't know, if you get stressed, or if I get stressed out, I get anxious. So I had so many anxious problems with people's and environments. I'm getting triggered. I'm triggering my brain. It's a safety issue, and it's really not. Mm-hmm. It's just my own fear of people. But my brain immediately will talk me out of anything. And this little trick, this 5-second rule, it's how to control your mind. 5-second rule, Mel Robbins. This was the winner here. This is what did it for me. Practicing this, making myself practice this in all those weird, scary, high-stress moments. So we're going to play this 2-minute and 40-second clip.
Power on.
And then we'll reflect on that.
Pairing.
Well, we got some more comments. Keep interacting.
Bluetooth connected.
And then we're going to go right into the hot seat.
Oh, shoot.
Are you nervous?
I can take it.
A little bit. Okay. Don't be too nervous. You're one of my besties, so I went light on you.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, the house said, keep up the awesomeness. And let's see, Saloma Marie. She said, Amy's absolutely amazing, hardworking, determined, and a strong woman. I'm lucky to have her as a roommate. Oh, see? Look at your house. They are so sweet.
Mad love for me. Mad love.
I'm jelly. I never got hooked up with this awesome house. Okay, here we go. So, our mic is still going to be on, so just silence while we play this clip. You ready? I made the mistake. I didn't know that before. Just making a whole bunch of background noises. Okay, here we go. How to control your mind. 5-second rule.
That you are in default mode 46.9% of the time. That's half of the day you're in autopilot mode. So the default mode network is really important because it allows us to automate things that we do all the time. You don't even have to think about it to do it. That's a very important function of your brain. Here's the problem. The problem is thinking patterns become part of your default mode network. So if you're someone like Karen who wakes up and you have all these dreams and aspirations, but your default mode is to think about the worst case scenario, somebody in your past either trained you to think this way, or you've had so many bad things happen that you've trained yourself to assume and predict that bad things are always going to happen to you. And that is a terrible, terrible way to live your life. And the reason why it's a terrible way to live your life is because there will be bad things that happen. There will. It's a fact of life. But if you are constantly allowing your mind to default to thinking that bad things will happen, or thinking that you're out of shape, or thinking that you're a loser, or thinking that you're not worthy, or thinking that things aren't going to turn out, it becomes your default mode of thinking. brain is going to screw you over. The brain is going to go into autopilot. The brain is going to tell you it doesn't feel like doing things. It's trickery. You now know that. So how do you be effective with yourself knowing that you're never going to feel like doing all the work that it takes to have this business be everything that it possibly could? So you're going to use the 5-second rule. And what that means is this. From the second you have that idea, you've only got 5 seconds to take action. Otherwise, it's gone. Your brain will swoop in so fast, it'll be like, uh-oh, there's an idea. No way. No way. You don't feel like it. You're overwhelmed. You've got 5 seconds, and that's it. In 5 seconds flat, worry can hijack your mind. Fear can take over, and the smallest moves that you really want to make can seem terrifying. The opposite is also true. In 5 seconds flat, you can take control back. You can never change the things that trigger you. You can't control your urges or how you might feel, but you can always choose how you behave.
Okay. What do you think of that?
That's super powerful, but it's the truth.
Right. And that is the truth. So what I would do is, I would always talk to myself. I wouldn't think too far ahead. Mm-hmm. I was thinking, well, what people are going to think me about this? People are going to judge me on this. People are going to know that I'm nervous. They're going to, what if I mess up? What if I trip up? I would always way overthink that and talk myself out of anything. You know, and so that's why I think a lot of times you'll hear is, unless it's a safety thing, if someone asks you to do something, service, whatever, you say yes. And I remember, that was so hard for me. Yes. And then immediately panic goes in. But pushing myself, doing the 5-second rule, especially just getting out of bed sometimes, you know, it's just, I want to lay in bed. I want, my brain, I literally will be on my way to go speak, okay, at a treatment center or whatever. My brain wants to be like, because I'm feeling nervous, you know what, maybe you should just reschedule. Maybe it'd be better if you wait till you had lunch first so you're not so nervous, whatever. My brain, and I catch it, and I go, nope, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's it, moving on. Change that thought. And that was how I was able to start changing my thoughts, which leads into emotions and my actions. But really, I tell people, the key to my success has been I don't think about shit anymore. I don't think about it, honestly. If my mind starts going into whatever place,
thinking mode.
Yep, I get up. If I can't do the 5-second rule, I'll get up and walk. I'll go walk into a meeting, or I'll call a friend, but my brain totally, and she said it could be things that happened in the past. It could be especially recent, yourself, challenges, big changes, really hurtful, painful stuff can happen. Your brain immediately wants to protect you. That's all your brain. It's not your brain's fault. It's set to protect you, but it was talking me out of all kinds of things that were not fear, a safety concern. So try it, people. You feel nervous, you feel anxious, for whatever reason you said yes, but you start talking yourself out of doing it. Even if sitting down, watch TV, right? I'm going to have this idea, I'm going to go do some yard work. If I take too long, sit down, before I know it, I'm snacking and watching a show. Yeah. So I pick myself, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, get your ass out, get that mower out, it's good. But it works, and the most part, I think, is the actions. Actions speak louder than words. Especially those words in your own damn head.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, we can be our own worst enemy, that's for sure.
Oh, absolutely. That's this big thing. My inner mean girl is not friendly. Oh, okay, so let's jump into the hot seat. I did get one more. Facebook user says, Amy, you are one of my favorite humans. There is power in your story. Oh my gosh, girl, I feel it, all the love.
Thank you.
Okay, so luckily, listeners, you'll be happy to know I'm not going to make this too hard on Amy, but she does not know these questions.
No, I do not.
This is the hot seat. I figured out, I have a sound effect. So the best part is, where it's at now is the questions are meant to be deeper, more heavier questions. Okay. But really, what I want you to think of, so you're not setting yourself up for that she's trying to make me nervous, or I want you to think that there might be someone out there who's asking themselves a similar question. Maybe I've been asked that question and didn't really think about it, didn't know what to say, or thought they were the only ones, and something you say might actually be like they connect
Beneficial.
with. Yeah, like, oh, yes, that's what I thought, or that happened to me too. That is the whole point, just to reassure you. So here we go. I'm gonna go ahead.
I'm pretty open, so.
Did you want to give any shout outs to anybody out there that
If my
listening?
son's still watching, I want to say good night and I love you, Bubba.
Oh, I know you guys have the best little relationship bond.
We were talking before I got here, or on, and he's like, Mom, don't forget to give me a shout out. So
Yes!
I just want to make sure Gavin knows I love him and sweet sleep.
He's a cool kid.
Thank
I've
you.
been interacting sometimes Zoom, and he's just good stuff.
If me and his dad did anything right, it was creating that human.
Yes!
So.
Oh, I love that. Okay, forget the sound effect. So usually I play a just like
the
fire,
suspense.
fire sound. Okay, question number 1, Amy. What has been the biggest challenge living in a sober house? Recovery residence.
Probably right now, only one bathroom.
Oh,
Other
yeah.
than that, sober house keeps me accountable for recovery.
Okay.
I have zero hesitation on UAs. Like, I'm grateful to be in recovery. I'm grateful for sober house. Like, at first I wasn't so grateful. I mean, I packed up my whole house and gave my home back, so it was a little kicking and screaming going behind that. Like, I don't want to be here. Like, what did I sign up for? But now, living in a smaller sober house setting, I have zero complaints. I love the girls I live with.
So with the challenge with the bathroom, how you guys coordinate that? You
We have a
schedules?
group chat, a group text, like,
Okay.
hey, do you guys care if I jump in the shower? If so, do you guys need to use the bathroom? So it's just the communication.
Sure.
Communication's key. So
what if you, side note, funny question. So what if you get in there, you expect it to be a quick thing, and it's a long thing,
we have
and there are issues?
another bathroom in the music room downstairs,
Okay,
just
okay.
in case of an emergency.
But people prefer not to have to do that? Okay, that's nice. Good. Okay. Question number 2, Amy. Why do you think you weren't successful in recovery before?
Well, that's a great question. 'Cause I never took time to heal with my daughter's death or my dad's death. This
Wow.
time around, I am 100% sober from everything. That is the first time I can ever say that I am almost a year sober from every substance.
Yes.
And I also went to Faith Lodge this winter.
Okay.
It's a grief for mother-infant death. So I finally dealt with something that I've definitely masked with drugs and alcohol.
Absolutely.
And I lost my dad the year previous, and then found out I was pregnant with my daughter 4 weeks later. Lost her literally a year, a month, and 20 days after my dad. So, like, boom, 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 boom. And then I'd get sober, I'd build a K.I.S.S, then I'd relapse, the K.I.S.S would thin, so it was like reliving it continuously, but trauma skills a new way, staying in new way for 45 weeks, utilizing my peers, utilizing like the sober house and my sponsors, and just actually giving it 110% and surrendering, like legitimately. Not like faking it until I make it or half-assing it this time.
I don't even like that term anymore, the fake it till you make it. Like, I get that concept,
Yeah, but it's a legit thing.
Now I say, faith it till you make it.
Faith it. Well,
You
no,
know?
I mean, yeah.
Something that you believe in. You don't have to be a religious thing, just something you have faith in.
Well, and I've dedicated myself 110% to my recovery this time than I've ever in the past. Like, even if I didn't want to go to a Tuesday night meeting, I still drag my ass.
Right.
I drop my son off, drive back to Columbia Heights, pick up my peers, and I go back to a meeting.
Yes.
I could be yawning that whole entire meeting. I took on service work there, so I'm the secretary.
Yes,
of the
that's
meeting.
right.
Like, just, I have an obligation, so now I'm obligated to be there all the time, but
You do the things.
It's worth it.
Well, and I know we just kind of went over that quickly. We'll jump into question 3, but I gotta say, I never share anybody's stuffs. But one of those challenges, even before we started meeting, and then working together. When we met at Bad Bob's. Bad Bob's, yes,
Bob's.
Bad Bob's Close. Shout out. What I love about that meeting is it's not just moms. It could be stepmoms, aunts, just anyone that's had or have little people in their life. So for me,
Bonus moms.
yes. Oh yes, I love that. God moms and but I lost my kids, but I didn't lose them at the capacity forever. I lost them out of my home, but they were still present, around. And I think one of the first shows I did, we were talking about biggest fears, and if there was anything that could throw me off, I don't foresee that at all. I'm just completely turned it over. I confess that my biggest fear is something happening to one of my kiddos. I don't know what I would do.
I don't wish it upon my worst enemy.
Yes.
Ever.
So when you shared that, I think immediately my soul connected to you. My spirit's you need to keep this person in your inner circle.
Okay.
Because I know you have this strength to be able to do that. Especially I even more I look to you. I see you as also an inspiration to be I look to you, what you do, the things you have done, I know is there and can be done. So if something, God forbid, ever happened to one of my children, I know you'd be my person I go right to, okay, before this is the ditch.
Well, I'm glad I am where I am today to tell you how to properly handle it.
Yes.
Not how I used to handle
Right.
it. Because it's night and day.
And can you talk a little bit about, just your experience with this, the faith, the retreat
Faith
thing?
Lodge.
Yes, that sounds amazing.
It was a 4-day retreat. The family that created Faith Lodge, their daughter was Faith, and they lost her.
Oh.
So it's in honor of their child, and they wanted to help other families
That's so
heal.
wonderful.
When I was there, my daughter had been gone for 8 years, and everybody that had been coming had been freshly, had lost their children.
Sure.
So
Oh, wow.
it was rewarding in that aspect to say, hey, don't cope with it this way. It's not gonna get you anything but having to relive it all over again when you sober up. So,
Right.
a few of the couples have had another baby or are about to have another baby, so I'm grateful to be a part of that.
Oh.
We Zoom with each other and catch up.
Oh, cool.
We have group chat also, so we stay in contact.
Yeah.
But it's a bond like no other.
Yes.
I was finally in a room full of people that 110% got what I went through with zero judgment.
Right.
I could say, I lost my child to SIDS, and they could fully understand
Right.
what that pain was like. When you walk the world, there's a lot of people that don't get that kind of loss.
Right.
So it was nice. It was in the middle of nowhere in Wisconsin, in this nice wood log cabin.
I saw pictures.
I had my own little suite. It was worth it. I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I didn't do it sooner, because I wouldn't have met the group of people I met when I did it.
Sure, and it might not have impacted you the same
Yeah.
way. And you impact them?
Yeah, and we made a birdhouse together with all of our names on it and all of our kids' names.
Oh my
We made
gosh.
rocks in honor of them, and we put it out. So, our kids' names are there. I made a birdhouse just simply for Gabriella.
Yes.
So,
Oh, that's so beautiful.
yeah, it was well worth it. But I was finally ready, actually, to heal from it.
Yes.
And had the time to heal from it.
Yes.
So,
And you are one of those healers. They say hurt people, right? But Pam from Thrive, she said this to me. Now I say
read
this.
this one.
She said, healed people heal people. That's you. That's definitely you. And me.
Yeah.
I give myself some due credit. But that lived experience, those lived experiences that we have, you just can't get in books. You can't read about or see in movies until you've gone through something.
Well, and I also wouldn't want to change any of my life experiences, because my shit makes me who I am today.
Absolutely.
And if I wouldn't have lived any of that shit, I wouldn't be the person I am.
Yes.
So, that's huge.
Yes. We're right here. We gotta get our own little
Sharing
handshake.
brain
you know?
links.
Yes.
You're in the brainwaves.
Okay, last question. Amy, you're doing so great.
Oh, thank you.
Question number 3. When you notice old thoughts or patterns coming in to your mind, why do you think that happens? I've never asked this before. Why do you think that happens with those maybe old thought patterns or
like flashbacks or
anything that you've maybe processed through? You feel like you're over it. Like in my case, for sure, when I feel like I want to go escape, I want to have an instant release that I know is only temporary. I have to sit back and say, why did my mind want to do that? What was it? I know it's fear. Okay, I already know that, but why? What was I really afraid of? Because I can't see it a lot of times, especially if I'm angry.
I guess like one of my biggest fears would have been like losing my only living kid. That's like huge thing. I'm grateful like I've worked a lot through that, and worked with my ex a lot through that. It wasn't always easy at the beginning. But
Yes.
I know why, like, he's done some of the things he did, and it was to protect our son.
Yes.
But I'm grateful.
Well, and even you mentioned before, like that sense of control. And for me, I can't talk about you, but for me, this control thing, it wasn't about I have this big ego, think people need to do what I say. For me, it was a safety thing. This delusion of control that I had for myself and my kids, was for to protect us, to protect them from the outside world or whatever.
My childhood was way different. Like, my grandmother was a survivor of the Holocaust.
Wow.
So, like, we never were allowed to have feelings or emotions.
Sure.
So, like, that's number one thing I worked on in treatment, outpatient, was when I first got there, it wasn't okay to have emotions. Like, I'd get angry, and that was just a sign of weakness. Now, I know it's okay to have normal human emotions. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to have fear. It's okay,
It's okay to be angry.
And
My therapist told me that, like, as long as you, like, name that feeling, right? Okay, I'm feeling angry. Feel that anger. She encouraged me in a positive way. Go ahead and express that anger to get things done, right? Not in a negative way, not to build. But if you don't process it, where it needs to go, it's going to build up. It's going to start being given to resentments.
Well, that's where you utilize your sponsors. You utilize, like, my sober house manager is a huge key piece to my recovery. Like, she can instantly read this.
Yes.
So she knows, like, what the
facial
face is,
expressions,
like, saying, or how it's feeling, or she knows, like, if I shut off and I'm in my room, like, dude, she just needs to deal with something. She'll eventually talk to me when she's ready.
Just needs her space.
But, like, my first drink of alcohol was 3.
Yeah.
Like, my grandma religiously assumed it was okay to put booze in her cup at holidays. Like, she didn't know right from wrong. Like, that was just the way she thought was okay. So, generational trauma ran thick in our family.
Sure.
Like, hugely thick.
Yeah.
I didn't get some of the way, like, my grandma treated, like, me and my birth dad to, like, my aunt and my sister. Like, me and my dad had light hair, so we would have been accepted. My aunt and my sister had dark hair, so she was very, very different with them, too, and, like, favored me and my dad. I never noticed that until I was, like, early 20s washing the dishes. And my grandpa's like, oh, well, Hitler would have liked you, but not your sister so much. Like, that kind of stuff. And now, because I went to inpatient treatment and learned about generational trauma, and my MHP there was doing it based off the Holocaust.
Wow.
It makes so much more sense to me, like, how that generational trauma, like, carried down in our family so thick, like,
yes,
me and my sister were oblivious to it.
Yeah.
We didn't know we were Jewish until we were 15.
Wow.
Well, I was 15.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, this is buried stuff. Epigenetics comes into play. So, okay, so just to make final answer on that one, I could definitely connect with your answer, because for me, no matter how patient and positive I am these days, I really believe anybody coming at you with some stuff, it's definitely just a reflection. It's something going on with them. However, Mama Bear, you trigger Mama Bear, and that has to do with my children. Oh my gosh, it turns me right back into I'm not who you. I don't think you've ever seen me in Mama Bear mode, but it's embarrassing when I have to later go, what happened? And I know what it is. So role playing has been helpful.
I'm like grateful for our growth, and like we all like. I mean, there's 3 of us raising this one child.
Yes.
I can't just say it's just me and my ex. I mean, his girlfriend Bailey's played a huge part in raising our son, too.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's a trifecta of raising
your team.
him. So he's gotten a lot of love from 3 people that truly love him.
Yes.
So, you know, I'm forever grateful. Mm-hmm. Obviously, coming out of treatment, I was probably maybe not so tolerable.
Yes.
But now, like, I've really worked on being accepting.
Oh, 100%.
And, like, it takes a team to raise a kid.
It takes a village.
And I can't just shut people out of that team. I need to give them credit too, and, you know, be accepting of some of their maybe point of view or insight.
Having those conversations.
Come together and, like, you know, how can we do this all together? Like, what's the right way? We are a team.
I love that. It's called adulting. And I gotta tell you, there's a lot of adults out there that just don't know any idea what adulting is. They still act like children. So it's great when you can all come together like that and be a team of adults.
I think you might like to read this one off of here.
Okay, well, okay, and then this will be perfect. That'll be a good segue to our last segment. We're running. Girl, this is why it's heartbreaking when friends are. It's 9:01. We're going to go to our last segment, which is called Live Facebook Memes. And what that is I'm going to flash you, and the listeners now can see them, so you don't have to describe them. Okay. So if they're more than words, I do like you to describe them. But during the week, I take a like that screen, like the little size the sound effect. I take screenshots of my favorite memes through the week, whichever ones I like. You know, they might be funny, inspirational, whatever. And then I get to you on air, like Facebook Live. You're gonna tell me your reaction. Okay. Laugh out loud, your heart's in, maybe comment, maybe you swipe right fuck through it. I don't know, but it's entertaining really for me. It brings me joy. Okay. Okay, I like to share that joy. So also, this is your certificate of graduation. Yes. Miss Amy. Oh my gosh, on the 13th. Ooh, I gotta just clap again. I got a little something for you later too, by the way.
Thank you.
And you want me to read this one? You got all these comments. So are these all the people that were in your
my group, my peers?
Little loving notes.
This one is pretty much on
it says, Amy, you got this, girl. You are strong, smart, and a tough MF. Hope to see your name on a sober house one day. Also, shout out to Meadow Creek. Maggie. Is it Maggie?
Yeah, that was where we went to Impatient. We know each other from Impatient there.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Do you guys have a really good connection, would you say?
Good ups and downs in life.
Yes. That's what family is, though. Brothers and sisters who fight all the time.
Well, and I was also in a different stage in my recovery, and she was fresh in.
Yeah.
So, I mean.
And she's right. You are a strong, smart, tough motherfucker. I gotta say that. You know? I definitely wouldn't want to be on your bad side. You will show up. And that means whether it's for good or bad, you just be there. That's wonderful that, you know, to have you in my tribe. You're in my tribe.
Ditto.
Okay, here we go. I bet you're probably relieved. The last segment here. I'm so sad. None of my sound effects wanted to. Oh, this one will work. Okay, here we go. My daughter came on. She showed me these awesome sound effects to use. It's meme time, listeners.
That's X-Files.
Illuminati. I like it because it's like you know, it's a big bag of tricks. You don't know what you're going to get here. Okay, so I'm going to flash them to you on my phone just so you don't have to try to reach over and look at what the listeners are seeing. But they are going to see exactly what you got. And I did get them in order on point. So here we go. Again, AB, this is live Facebook memes. And you're just going to, if there are pictures, can you please go ahead and describe this first? Go ahead and hold my phone there. Do you recognize? It's irrelevant who the actress is, although I love her.
When someone watches me parallel park, look away.
Have you ever seen her in any movies?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So if you did it in her voice, okay, hold on, I got to flash it now so people know what we're talking about. So there's a woman looking a little heated, right? Mm-hmm. She looks a little upset, and she's yelling this. And if you know who Melissa McCarthy is...
She's epic.
She is saying... When someone watches me parallel park, look away! This is me, Amy. How are you in parallel parking?
That was like probably the highlight of my morning in outpatient treatment was watching all them people parallel park.
Oh my gosh, I know
Like
you
I could
watchers,
feel it.
watchers.
Like I could get parallel parking down like boom.
Yes.
But they would pull in.
Yep.
Pull out.
That's
pull in.
freaking me.
And then they pull out and go try to find another spot and do the same thing for like 20 minutes, and I'm just like sitting in my truck laughing.
It's my nightmare. I literally will start sweating. Yes, you're just like my coworker Kelly. She is like on point with her parallel parking, right? She puts me to shame. If I look around, okay, maybe if there's only a couple people, I'll maybe attempt it. Okay, especially if I've been driving around. But I get way more worse at it when I know people are looking at me. There's traffic building up. I'm just freaking out. It's a bad situation. So yeah, this
Maybe I
this
can
is
teach you something.
perfect. I failed it on my driver's test,
I can
so
teach you
I think it's stemmed up. I'll do some.
I taught both my baby sisters how to parallel park.
Yes, there's
so
some mastery to it.
I can teach you.
Okay, here's the next one. Well, that was totally. This is words.
Oh, fuel prices are so high. Just seen this is epic. Fuel prices are so high that I went to the car dealership and test drove 3 cars to run my errands. Follow me for more money saving tips.
That's genius.
That is genius.
Honestly, if I get that desperate, that's a good idea.
I just read this yesterday.
You did?
It was epic.
Right?
Like I had to read it a couple
just a
times,
smart
and like
idea.
I read it to my sister. I'm like, dude, this is
I wonder how many
brilliant.
people are actually going to go try this.
Probably several now.
They're going to get busted eventually.
Yeah.
But, okay, listeners, I bet you they haven't got onto this quick tip yet, so go do it. Just let me know if it works out. Okay, again, this one's powerful. It's in other words.
There will always be a lie in believe, an over in lover, an end in friend, and us in trust, and an if in life.
Isn't that crazy?
That's true.
All those things.
Very powerful.
So you can, like, to me, it just says you can either make this positive
Or
or
negative.
negative. It's your perception.
Yeah. I hope I'll push for the positive piece.
Over and lover, end and friend.
Right.
Ooh, let's just keep it. Let's keep those full words. I like that.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay. Again, here's another just words. I think it's inspiration. I don't remember.
Well, the painting's Picasso.
Yeah.
Starry Night. Instead of getting defensive, just say thank you for letting me know your thoughts. I'll consider them.
There you go.
Amen.
You know what? And I want to try this.
Mhm.
So I've been stressed out here. I've been reacting. Just let's say not responding the way I want to. So from now on, if someone says something to me that I take to get defensive about reasonably, I'm just gonna say, instead of responding like I know they want some kind of answer or they want me to like defend myself, I'm just gonna be like, oh, thanks for letting me know your thoughts. I'll consider them, and not say anything. I want to say bye. No, just walk away.
Just have a
Just
good
watch their
day.
face. I wish I could catch their face. But that's just smart because in that reality, you just need to pause, especially if they're.
Sometimes misery likes company, so
100%.
they really want your negative reaction.
Yes.
So sometimes no reaction's better than a reaction.
The best reaction.
And that's like not negative.
That's such a good point.
That's just like, hey, thank you. I'll consider that.
Yeah, try to say it in a very kind tone. I don't know if I
Yeah.
could pull that off. Just
Well,
saying that
sometimes
is
our
pretty good.
faces are really showing exactly like how we feel.
Uh-huh. SpongeBob.
Guys, when a girl messages them, what?
Okay, so first describe the picture. Okay, so SpongeBob
It's
looking like he's suspicious.
Hmm.
Okay. Guys,
When a girl
messages them
them out,
first out of nowhere.
yeah.
PMs them, private messages, like a girl
Yeah.
says them direct. Okay, this is the reason this is funny to me is I did this, Amy. I did this just this last week.
Okay.
Oh God, this is a nightmare. I already got rejected. I'm 0-1. So I decided to try dating. I don't know if you noticed. I'm sure you didn't. I put my relationship status. I never show my relationship status because, well, let's be real. There's never been a status. So I finally put it to open to public. I'm single, which to me is like, okay, I'm gonna try maybe doing this thing. Okay, so this is I have to do research, but I'm not a patient person. So I got this guy in mind. I'm like, a lot of things in common. I've met him in real life, so it's not some weird whatever person. But I was like, I'm just gonna ask him out for coffee, smoothie, whatever. Just see. But before so all I asked was like, hey, do you need anyone? I think he was probably like, why is she This is suspicious. This is why it's suspicious.
So he's SpongeBob.
I'm kind of a man-eater. Yeah, so he's SpongeBob. That's probably initially was like, what's really... Because there's been a lot of scams on Facebook, too, lately. Have you seen that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe he was
like,
probably... Initially, because I saw he didn't read it for a minute. Okay, here's a good one. I love to.
Don't sit at the table where they talk about others, because when you get up, you're the next topic.
Boom.
That's very true.
This is fucking reality. Mm-hmm. Ooh, I catch it clear as day, and I
that
mostly
means they're
listen.
Drinking the haterade.
Yep. Yes. Oh my gosh, 100%. Yeah, why do you think when someone's in this group of, maybe there's 3 of us talking, they're talking shit about people, that is immediately, first of all, if I'm coming up on them, and they're quieter, they change something, like, oh shit, they're talking about some shit. Then they change the subject. I know as soon as I walk away, they're talking shit. I don't kid myself anymore.
Yeah, I try not to get around that.
Okay, describe it. So there's a side-by-side. What is... I don't know what that show is, but there's females about to fight. Screaming at each other.
Something Beverly Hills.
Oh, is it one of those? Okay.
I want to say.
Yeah. And then the other side...
one girl looking stupefied, and the other one like raging, pointing her finger. And then on the other side, you got a cat eating a salad at the table. And then it says, "You said I was the girl of your dreams." I woke up.
Hey, Kathleen! I woke up.
And
you said I was the girl of your dreams! How could you? I woke up. Hi. That's a good one.
Yeah, that is actually
so if any man or woman, partner ever tells you you've been the person of my dreams, be ready.
Yeah.
They're like, just like wake up. Slowly in dreamland. Okay. This was just a funny guy. This looks really concerned or confused, drinking some coffee. What is he saying?
When you text her to calm down, and then you spend 15 minutes staring at the
3 dots.
The 3 dots because they have an iPhone.
Yeah, the 3
He's contemplating like,
Facebook.
What is she gonna say?
Yes, there's 15 minutes of there's paragraphs for coming.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Watch out, bro. I'm gonna have you on a platter.
Oh yes. You never say calm down when somebody's heated.
Yeah.
Never do that.
Well,
pick any other 2 words.
I mean, as a female,
you need to calm down. What did you just say?
Like, bro, what?
Yeah.
Well, obviously, maybe you should have saved that.
Yeah.
Especially if it's that time of the month, bro. Run.
Oh yes. Yes. Time that out, man.
Run. Don't ever tell a female to calm down, especially when she's heated and in that moment.
Right.
It's probably not going to benefit you any.
Opposite to react. Yeah, opposite to emotion. But yes, I know sometimes, very rarely, I don't know, I have a hard time.
Maybe I should give you some time to calm down. Right?
I don't even bother. I used to be that person. I said some words, I want to see your react. I'm waiting, and you see the 3 dots, and I'm like, oh man, they're really coming back with something. I'm going to be ready too. Not anymore. Like, I'm glad nowadays, like, I'm actually really bad about it. Now, I'll message you, but I'm busy. I'm doing some shit, so I forget that I'll come back. It might be 2 hours later. It might be 2 days later. I'm terrible. But yes, I don't sit and stare at my phone anymore, but I remember those days.
That's epic.
Okay, this is just words.
Okay, sometimes the best reason to let go of a toxic relationship is because your child is watching. Amen. That's very true.
Yeah, I remember that I was married, right? And I remember we were just staying together for the kids, right? Mm-hmm. It didn't really, and I didn't have parents show me what a healthy relationship looked like, right? So I didn't know. And I remember that moment when I realized what they saw, how our relationship was and how we were interacting with each other was 100% negative. Mm-hmm. And then in turn teaching them that that's how some people can treat each other. Mm-hmm. And you just get through it. And nonsense. So I remember the looks on their faces.
I guess, like, with me, my mom had my birth dad had a lot of crappy relationships.
Yeah.
And his girlfriends were just, yeah. But
and what you don't know, you don't know.
My mom had a lot of abusive relationships, so I think that's probably one reason why I struggled in relationships, but I've never really had many around my son.
Yeah.
Like, I don't ever want my son to see 100% of the BS I grew up around as a child. Mm-hmm. Like, and I think that's why I am the way I am with relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
that's wonderful. And I feel like, I thought that I know that I broke a cycle, like a generational thing, because I remember instinctively I will not be what they are. You know, my parents showed me what not to be like. So I was the opposite. I was very loving and affectionate. However, I accidentally kind of fell into this like delusion of I keep putting on this happy face. I keep pretending it's going to be okay. And well, you saw that a lot of people know that didn't work out for me.
Yeah.
Pretending to be something I'm not. I'm not happy. I'm not happy. You do not have to live in unhappiness.
Yeah.
What's that great thing they say nowadays? I've read in books where, you know, things are what you allow them to be. Mm-hmm. It's hard to see, especially in relationships.
It's sad. Like, it was a really eye-opening experience this weekend because, you know, I stayed at the hotel for my overnight. Well, there was this girl. She and her partner were arguing, and he kicked her out with all of her baggage. Well, then she's sitting there as I'm talking to my ex and his girlfriend on the phone last night, whatever. And long story short, I went out to smoke a cigarette, and she's like, oh, well, you can sit here. Like, don't let me take up all the bench. And instantly in conversation, I could tell she's in an abusive relationship. She fucking is a drug addict. And I'm like, gotta go.
Okay.
So this is at like 9 o'clock last night, 9:30.
Wow.
She was still there this morning and still there this evening when I left to go home. I'm like, bro.
Ooh, you gotta get some
like,
cards.
don't you want to like get out and like find your self-worth again? But when they're like, but I'm like, yeah, that's mission impossible.
You get lost, yeah. 100%. Okay, last one. Thank you for your patience, Amy and the listeners.
Pay attention to your patterns. The way you learn to survive may not be the way you want to continue to live. Heal and shift. That's very true. Break the cycle.
Yeah, I just got this new meditation book, daily meditation, or affirmations.
Okay.
And it's affirmations for my inner child.
Oh.
So I'm finding this really great place. I have a great system of digging really deep into myself, but knowing when to stop, knowing to vary baby steps or push through or whatever. And a lot of the things that I used to use, and I call them character defenses, are just rooted in protecting myself. And so, yes, they were useful in that moment, in many moments actually in my life to survive. They were great, wonderful things, but now I need to catch those and put them on the table and realize these are things now that are not protecting me. They're, hindering me. They're holding me back. Like, I think that's why I take it so long to... This is dating again. Back to the dating thing. This is just such a nightmare.
Well, and it probably was a reason, too, why we were chronic relapsers.
Oh, yes.
You know, they
Big time
hindered us, and
reuses.
we continued to, you know, utilize some of that stuff, and it didn't definitely heal us. It kept wrecking us.
Oh, yes. And avoiding and just trying to fill this emptiness inside of me. And what I've been doing this last year is to realize I need to fill that myself. Yeah. I finally feel like this, I wouldn't say a whole person, but I didn't realize how much of myself wasn't there or I didn't even know about. Wow. And so now those things that I use, I love the word healing. I love the word, just shifting that to, instead of always protecting myself, always putting these, changing it to so that I have these things that I recognize these things that are holding me back to be able to trust again, to be able to love again, to be able to put myself out there, and it's okay to be hurt, and it's okay. You're either gonna love to the fullest or sit back here, get some K.I.S.S, and never put myself out there again. Like that's why. So it's awkward, it's scary, and yes, it's very likely I'm probably gonna get hurt again, but I'm in this place now where I'm solid in who I am. I love myself. That I'm going to handle it. And I got all my sisters in recovery. They got my back. Right. Like, I'm not alone. And it's not the end of the day. It just wasn't meant to be. But, I do, just right off the bat, right out the gate, I'm already, on this, my inner mean girl is, already shut me down. Oh, see? You're not, I want to say, I'm not ready for dating. I literally was looking at some YouTube videos on how to flirt, Amy. This is sadness. But it's funny.
But it's worth it.
And you know what? Somebody doesn't like my quirkiness.
I'm a little out of the game. I gotta re-educate myself.
If they don't want to take the time to, see through my weirdness,
Well, you gotta
they're
accept
lost.
me for all my good, bad, and ugly.
Right.
And that's my quirkiness
I'm
too.
not always weird.
Like,
You know, sometimes
awkward, but who cares? That's a part of me.
Right. Yes.
Like, take
It's
it or leave-
endearing.
Like today I couldn't say Pepto-Bismol.
Pepto?
I kept saying Peppo.
Peppo.
And like my Gavin, he's like, Mom, it's Pepto-Bismol. My ex even had
Aw.
to correct me on it because I was like, Peppo. Like, it was so
Yes.
like, I'm like, dude, don't mind me. Like a little tongue twister. Like, jeez, like take it or leave it.
Right. And at the end of the day, I can laugh at myself.
Right?
Immediately, of course, I feel a little rejected.
I started
and
laughing at
looking
myself.
in the
I'm like,
mirror,
Tori,
checking
like,
myself.
You know what I'm talking about. Just say the word for me.
Yes.
Come
Just lay it
on.
out there.
And then Gavin's like, Mom, it's
Just stop.
Pepto-Bismol.
Just stop,
Like,
Mom.
come on now. I'm like, thanks, son. Thanks. I love you.
Yes.
Like,
Well, on that note, any final words of wisdom? Any final gratitude? Any shout-outs? Anything you want to say? Because, Amy, I got to say, I'm grateful for you. Thank you for showing
I'm
up.
grateful for
and
this
sharing.
opportunity. I was nervous. It was one of them things I didn't want to do, but I'm like,
Yeah.
nope, I got to do it.
Oh, yeah.
So here I am.
Had to say yes. Thank you. Many people actually do say no.
It's way better than what I thought it was.
Right?
Like, yeah. So I'm proud of myself for stepping out of my
I did not
comfort
sense
zone.
nervousness from you at all.
No, I mean, just go with it. Go with the flow. It's
Yes.
just a conversation.
Yes.
So,
And hopefully something we said
yep.
had a positive effect and planted a seed somewhere.
Well, and it is. Like, I hope, like...
No matter what, I had a good time.
Yeah, same here. It was
Right?
actually way fun.
Finally see you in person.
I know, it's been a
You
minute.
graduated, now we gotta hang out. Seriously, I don't
right.
want. Yes, you're busy, I'm busy. Nope, you're gonna be a little less busy. I know you still be busy.
Recovery
Oh
too.
yes.
See?
Oh, I got something coming.
Oh.
I need volunteers to help me. I'm gonna have my own little booth.
Oh, shoot.
I'm not gonna be stuck at the first aid table. Forget this here. I was doing. They didn't know who I was.
You're doing first
You're doing
aid.
first aid. I'm like, oh shit.
I'm not doing that.
I was a Girl Scout leader like 6 years ago. I don't know how much I remember.
Well, I'm down for whatever as long as I can walk with my son. I'm
Of
content.
course,
I'm
of
content in life.
Yes, I'm gonna have some fun things coming too.
I think I'm not sure if my sober house will be there, but
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
It's September, I think 13th is the game, baseball game, and then the 17th is the walk, I believe.
Okay.
Don't quote me, I didn't bring the dates, but they both in that same week. The Twins game, recovery
Yeah,
caps,
we did the Twins
and then the
game.
walk for recovery.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you again, Amy.
Thank you,
Such
everyone.
an honor, and thank you, listeners. Oh wait, let's see if there's any final comments. Jeez, I'm so terrible. I get so in this present moment, that I forget that people are trying to communicate. Sorry, listeners. Let's see. Amy, you are one of my favorite humans. There's power in your story. Oh, yep. A laugh out loud. Facebook user was laughing with us.
Gamers.
Amers, you killed it.
That's Laura.
Kisses.
Thank you, Laura.
Oh, see, I feel that love. Fantastic. I gotta come to your house sometime.
Oh.
Just tell them I'm a cool person.
Well, when we have our sponsor
Leaders,
dinner, both
guys.
you guys can come.
Yeah, I'll get in some foods.
AANNA sponsors. Both can
Do
be
it
there.
up.
Nail
This
it.
is recovery.
Yeah,
Swell.
I know we're supposed to get a date on when we're doing our sponsor dinner.
Let me
So I'll
know.
keep you both posted on when we do our sponsor dinner.
I don't know if you know this, I'm vegan, Amy.
Oh, well.
It always scares people. It's all good. I can bring my own little stuffs.
Well, we'll make sure there's vegan
Options?
apples, like, I mean,
Don't worry.
salad.
I just like to scare people. Because otherwise, if I come there and I go eat anything, people get hurt feelings. And I'm
salad?
like, and everybody goes to salad. I'm like, I'll eat salad, but I do like other things.
Okay, I like fruit.
Tacos.
Tacos.
I like hummus. I like
oh, well.
today I had this really great it was like a rice and all kinds of delicious. There's lots of options, but do not go out of your way for me. I'll just tell you, don't be offended if I don't eat none of your shit.
Okay.
Just bring my smoothie.
Well, good to know. Good to know.
But I would love to come there.
Okay, sweet.
Okay, well, everybody, I hope you had a great weekend. And, of course, I'm sending out the good vibrations and good positive energies. I hope you all have a great week. And I will check in with you next week.
Thanks for the
Bye,
love and support.
everybody. Okay, this is great. My favorite part is to end it. Because no matter what we said or how we did things, this is inspiring music. Here we go. Returning home. Thanks, everybody.
Oh, my...